जी मैं बगैर किसी झिझक के कह सकता हूँ कि सारे जहां से अच्छा. Namaskar from space. I'm thrilled to be here with my fellow astronauts, as Peggy said, one veteran and three rookies. And wow, what a ride it was.
On Wednesday, as the clock ticked past 12:01 p.m. in India, a Falcon 9 rocket arced into the Florida sky. It was the Axiom 4 mission, carrying, among other things, the weight of Indian ambition and its collective heartbeat. On board was an Indian astronaut who, as a young boy, had watched planes from the playground of City Montessori School in Lucknow and then, later, flown fighter jets. Now, he was piercing the Earth's atmosphere, heading for the International Space Station. Shubhanshu Shukla became the first Indian in over 4 decades to orbit the Earth, after Rakesh Sharma went into space on April 3, 1984. But behind that headline is another story, a quieter, steadier orbit. Back home, his childhood friend, now wife, Dr. Kamna Shukla, was watching every launch sequence, each telemetry update, each second of silence with a different kind of courage.
I knew that it is going to happen one day. That small idea is now an incredible reality for us, and we can't be more thankful.
My colleague, Times of India's ace of space, Chethan Kumar, spoke to Dr. Shukla, also a dentist and mother, earlier this month. In this episode, we listen to the woman who knew Shubhanshu Shukla before the uniform, before the call sign, before the stars. It's Friday, the 27th of June. I'm Anirban Chaudhary. This is the Morning Brief. First, a word with Chethan. Hi Chethan, very warm welcome to the Morning Brief.
Thanks for having me, Anirban.
Right. So the Axiom 4 is finally happening after being, after facing so many delays. You've been reporting on all of it. In fact, you even traveled to Florida and then came back because the launch didn't happen. And now it is happening. What is the update that you can give me?
As we speak, the Dragon capsule, which has now been named Grace by the Axiom 4 crew, is cruising towards the International Space Station. In fact, earlier in the day, they were flying over Europe. And by 4:30 p.m. India time on June 26th, which is today, it is expected to dock with the International Space Station if all goes as per plan. So that is the latest on the Axiom 4 mission. By the time your audiences listen to this, the International Space Station would have welcomed the Axiom 4 crew, including Shukla, and we'll hear more from them from there. In the next 2 weeks, they'll turn their focus on research, but they'll also have a lot of outreach and engagements planned from the International Space Station. So looking forward to it. And yes, there were several delays, as you pointed out earlier, and that was a bit frustrating for the crew, the families, and everybody involved. But it's not very uncommon for crewed space missions to get delayed because safety is paramount, and there have been delays of missions that SpaceX has carried out even before, including the previous Axiom missions that have gone to the International Space Station. So it was not something that was really unexpected, because with space, one can never be too careful.
Understood. Let's go over to, what tangible benefits, scientific, diplomatic, strategic, what tangible benefits can India extract from this arrangement, which is, sending an IF pilot to the ISS via a private American mission?
See, there is going to be some benefits for India, just as it would be for any other country that has traveled to space. When Rakesh Sharma went on a Soviet mission in 1984, India did benefit. We learned a lot about spacefaring and what it requires to send a human there at the time. And now that India has a program in Gaganyaan that is being built indigenously as much as possible, Shukla's flight will assume more importance, because now he can actually come back and share his experiences that will directly get into the making of Gaganyaan and traveling to space, regardless of whether it's a commercial mission or a national mission of another country. Traveling to space, the processes don't change. What you learn there doesn't change. Your learnings of how to handle a crew module or a spacecraft in terms of emergencies will not change. The design and technologies that will be used may vary, but the basic principles of flying to space and coming back is something that Shukla will have a strong foundation in. And to that extent, I think there will be a lot that he can contribute for the Gaganyaan program. It is an opportunity that Shukla has got, and I think he'll make the most of it.
What can you tell me about Shubhanshu Shukla that the world doesn't know yet, maybe?
See, from all the conversations I've been having from people very close to him, one thing you know is that Shuks, as his call sign is and also as is fondly called, hasn't changed much in the last 39 years. But at the same time, he's evolved into becoming an astronaut from, a schoolboy in Lucknow who went to City Montessori School. His wife has been his classmate from class 3. I've had conversations with her. I've spoken to many others that Shukla has worked closely with. So, one thing that hasn't changed about him is his resolve. When he focuses on something, he gets it done. And that is something people who've known him as a child have told me. People who work with him shoulder to shoulder at the Indian Air Force have told me. And academics with whom he's worked on research work as part of Gaganyaan training have told me. So Shukla is able to focus on things, and once he has his eyes set on something, he invariably seems to be achieving it, which comes as, I think, good news for the Indian space program, because Shukla will be second in command and he is piloting the Grace module. Although it's mostly autonomous, he is trained to deal with every exigency. In case there is a need, he will be able to operate that manually.
Understood. You spoke about people that you talk to who are close to Subhanshu, and of course, who can be closer than his wife. You had a brilliant, beautiful conversation with her recently. Let's listen to that.
Hello and welcome. We have with us today Kamna, whose husband, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, is all geared up to travel to space on the Axiom 4 mission. Thank you so much for taking the time out.
You're welcome.
So just to ease you in a bit, and I know these are anxious moments, just 3 days to go before the big launch.
Yes.
So when did it first sink in that Shuks, as his call sign is, might travel to space one day?
I think it was in the beginning of 2020 when the candidates for the Gaganyaan program were announced, and he was one of them. I knew that it is going to happen one day. And there is a very interesting build up to all of this. When the eligibility criteria for Gaganyaan was announced, one of them was that it has to be a test pilot. And it's a very small community of test pilots. And we were elated by the fact that whoever it would be, he would be known to us. And see, that small idea is now an incredible reality for us, and we can't be more thankful.
And his job, even before becoming an astronaut, was one filled with a lot of technicalities and danger. He was not just a fighter pilot, but he was also a test pilot.
Yes.
And now he's an astronaut. But can you tell our viewers and readers something that is unmistakably Shukla at home that they might not know? Because this daring personality outside, taking risks, but how is he at home?
Shubhanshu is very devoted to his routines. He loves his workouts. He loves his nonfiction books. He likes to goof around with his 6-year-old son. But, when you talk about his fearlessness, he has taken immense risks in his life. He has left his life as a fighter pilot and went into uncharted territory of becoming an astronaut. He was taking decisions in microseconds, and now he's doing these very delicate experiments on ISS as an astronaut. So I would say it's a leap from microseconds to micrograms for him now, and it's amazing, and there is a certain never say never attitude in him that makes him very special. You will often see him quoting, Dory from Finding Nemo, that just keep swimming. So there might be a fire anywhere, but what he will focus on is solutions. that is his forte. He will see the task to its conclusion. So that is what I appreciate most about him, and that is him actually.
So now that he's going to travel, and you met with the other astronauts and their families, you just had, I think, the wave off event yesterday.
Yes.
So how is the whole mood within the crew members and their families? How thick have they become now that they've been training for nearly a year?
Oh, they are thickest of friends, and they call themselves friends for life now, because their experience in microgravity is something that will bond them together, that nobody else around them, not even their families or the closest friends, would have gone through. These are the only four people who know each other, and they are going through this experience together. So I guess this will bond them for life, and they are so fond of each other. I am so glad that Shuk's has found these friends. All of them are so fond of my son, and it has been really, really a good experience.
You spoke about how they are bonding.
Yes.
How did you meet Shuks, or was he still Gunjan when you met him?
Okay, so he's my classmate.
Okay.
We've been studying together since class third, and we have been together for a very long time now. You can say that we are best of friends. So yes, I know him since he was Gunjan or Shubhanshu, that shy guy in my classroom who is going to be an inspiration for so many now.
Has the distance during this phase of Shuk's life ever been something that has impacted you? I know he's been an IAF pilot and you may have learned how to cope with it, but can you tell us about this phase of his life, Russia and now here?
Yes, see, these things do get overwhelming. They do. How much ever we have trained for it, it was difficult, especially Shuk's missing his son's early childhood milestones. He finds it deeply painful. But you know what? Shuk's is very focused. He's like Arjuna, just focus on whatever is right in front of you.
You can see the eye of the fish.
Yes, he can. So he is like that. When you go into such missions, you have this mindset that you can either be overwhelmed or you can be excited. So we have actually chosen to be excited about it. And second, there is nothing that comes out without any risk. So with the risk of challenges, you also have the glory at the other end. So that is the mindset we walked into this with, and I think it has helped us.
So years later, when Sid grows up, or anybody else in the family, if they were to ask you about his travel to the space and him coming back, what is the thing that you want to remember most vividly about this entire journey?
I would tell Sid that, your father was the chosen one. He was lucky enough to represent his beautiful country and its 1.4 billion people. Favors the brave. And I think Shuk's is the bravest person I know. He left his love for his flying behind to venture into an unknown territory that was uncharted in our country. And he has made his own. He thought and he dreamt that the stars are attainable, and he reached for them, and still he's grounded. So I feel that's the story I would like Sid to remember about this.
And does Sid comprehend what's happening now? He's so young, he's only 6.
Yes.
So does he understand, or it's just excitement and adrenaline all the time?
It's just excitement. He's not understanding. If you believe me, he thinks that everybody's father is an astronaut. So yeah, Papa is an astronaut. Yeah, that's great. It's for him. It is like that. And I have an anecdote for this as well. It is so funny. Like, we went on a NASA visit, and NASA was gracious enough to provide us with a visit of all the facilities that are not even open to regular people. But then Sid was all excited looking at the rockets and at the spacesuits that we were looking at. And then our guide who was taking us around, she asked, so Sid, what was your favorite part? And he turns around and says, Oh, the deers in NASA's park are very nice.
So I have to believe Thibaut when he said that you can show him any animal and he's just in love with
he
it.
loves animals. So yeah, so that is his comprehension. But I'm sure when he grows up, he is going to be super proud of his father.
I'm sure he is, and a lot of people in India would be. And as far as his continuous journey goes, because when Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma went to space, India didn't have a human spaceflight program. When Shuk's is going now, India has a homegrown program called Gaganyaan, for which he was initially picked. And he still has an opportunity that might arise where he'll also be part of Gaganyaan. He's among the first 4. So when you look at this, Shuk's being the person who's going back to space from India, he's only the second person, but he'll also be a first from the generation which can not only dream of going to space, but may also have an opportunity domestically. How do you see that?
Shuk's has an immense responsibility associated with this program. See, this program is a milestone program because it is a stepping stone to our own ambitious Gaganyaan. And whatever experiences he's going to take, he's going to bring back to his country. So I feel being a pioneer in this aspect, he is going to be of immense help to ISRO with their own program. And I guess he will be quite busy when he goes back.
Let's hope so. And I think we also need a pool of astronauts that India will build eventually once the first flight takes off. Now, coming to my final question, I don't want to take any more time of yours. Have you imagined what the launch day is going to be in your mind? And do you have an image of that?
See, I am a fighter pilot's wife. So my way of coping with his takeoffs was that I would never think about it. I would never go to
happy landings and happy splashdowns.
Yes, I would never ever attend any of his takeoffs. So if I don't see it, it's not present. So that's the way I cope with it. So I have never thought about it. I have never, and I believe I go with the flow. Whatever will come, we are filled with gratitude for that, and we will take it as it comes to us.
Frankly, when I was sitting in the capsule in Grace yesterday on the launch pad, my only thought in my mind was that let's just go. After 30 days of quarantine, it was a feeling that I just wanted to go. The excitement and all was, probably far away. It was just the feeling that let's just leave here. But when the ride started, it was something like you getting pushed back into the seat. It was an amazing ride. And then suddenly, nothing. Everything silenced, and you were just floating. You unbuckled, and you were just floating in the silence of vacuum. It was an amazing feeling. I was not feeling very great when we, got shot into the vacuum. But since yesterday, I've been told that I've been sleeping a lot, which is a good sign. So I think that's a great sign. I'm getting used to this quite well, enjoying the views, enjoying the entire experience, learning like a baby, learning the new steps, learning how to walk, learning how to control yourself, everything, learning how to eat, I think. So it's a new environment, new challenge, and I'm really enjoying this experience with my fellow astronauts here. And it's good to make mistakes, but it's better to see somebody else do that too. So it has been a fun time up here.
That's it for today. You were listening to this episode on The Morning Brief. It was produced by me and Radhas Naik, sound designed by Amrit Reggie. Listen to TMB every Tuesday, Thursday and Friday, wherever you get your podcasts. External clips used in this episode belong to their owners. Credits are mentioned in the description.